I'm a 42-year-old man, and my wife is 39. We've been together for 2 decades, married for 11 years, and we have 2 children. Over the past year or so, our marriage has been going through a rough patch. Things haven't been great. I usually sleep on the couch because my snoring keeps her up, and that's not fair to her. We've both failed in being consistently kind or considerate to each other as partners. Despite that, we remain incredibly close as friends. We still share stories from our day, laugh together, and show genuine excitement over things we find interesting. There have been moments filled with real love during this tough time. When it comes to everyday responsibilities, I fall short. I'm awful at noticing messes and getting involved in daily chores. I also have a full-time job and a side hustle, more of a paid hobby that takes up every Friday and Saturday night. It's been that way for 10 years. My wife, on the other hand, does everything I don't, and I acknowledge that it built up resentment in her. I didn't handle the news of her pregnancy well in the beginning. I lost a job and shifted the financial burden of keeping our home entirely onto her shoulders. Not just once, but a few times. Those scars are still fresh for her. While I've grown a lot since then, I continue to fall short with things like helping around the house. There are areas where I shine. I'm a dedicated father. I read to our kids every night and put everything into being there for them. And they're thriving. My wife is an incredible mother as well. She fosters a home where the kids feel safe and loved. The joy-filled activities they do are thanks to her efforts. But communication has been our Achilles heel. We don't talk about our needs or emotions. She yells about what I'm not doing, and I keep everything bottled up. That lack of connection left both of us feeling lonely, even while living with our best friend. Our intimacy faded, and months would pass without any physical connection. She told me she'd lost all self-confidence and asked that I not touch her until she felt ready. I respected that fully. I never wanted to make her feel pressured or unsafe, especially knowing she struggles with depression and anxiety. So I stayed quiet, waited, and didn't take steps to make her feel desired, just as she did nothing to make me feel desired either. Eventually, the thought that she might be involved with someone else crept in. Then a few weeks ago, I found a pregnancy test. It had been months since we'd been intimate, and I knew what it meant. Initially, the discovery crushed me. But strangely, it woke something up inside. I couldn't bring myself to hate her. We were both lost and lonely, and in that moment, I realized just how deeply I still loved her. She's still my best friend. The situation forced me to reflect on my shortcomings, how absent I'd been, how little I'd supported her. It stirred in me a deep desire to change, to be better. I forgave her, but I needed answers. I needed to know who it was, how long it had been going on, and why. Though I had forgiven her, I still felt the sting of betrayal. What made it harder was that in our 2 decades together, we never lied to each other. I'd tried once or twice, saying work was fine when it wasn't, or pretending I'd quit smoking. But I always came clean. She always knew. I started obsessing. Was it a dad from school? A coworker? Someone I'd never met? Did I unknowingly cross paths with the man sleeping with my wife? I started writing a journal to process everything. In 2 weeks, I filled over 100 pages. A lot of it was about how much I loved her and how, even if she didn't choose me in the end, I wanted her to be happy. 2 days after I found the test, she told me she wanted to separate. I asked if she was seeing someone else. She denied it and said the test was an old one from our past. I didn't believe her, but oddly, we started getting along better afterward. She began second-guessing her decision. She didn't want to lose her best friend either. We had ups and downs. One moment crying together, another moment just holding each other in bed like we used to. Arguments still happened, but I no longer stayed quiet. In a strange way, that felt like progress. That said, there were tough moments. One night, she emotionally hit a wall. I should mention she had quit her antidepressants cold turkey a few months prior, and later admitted it made her feel lost and unstable. Still, she refused to see a doctor. It makes her extremely uncomfortable. That night, she said she needed time alone and wanted to get a hotel room to cry. I gave her my card and told her to charge it. I knew she wasn't going to a hotel, but I've never been controlling, not once in 20 years. I couldn't stop her. I picked up our kids, came home, and she was gone. I knew she went to him. It broke me. But I couldn't bring myself to tell her I knew. She looked so broken, and I didn't want to add to it. Late that night, long after the kids were asleep, my phone rang. It was her. I wish I hadn't answered. I'm glad I did, but I wish I hadn't heard what I did. There were unmistakable sounds. Him groaning, her breathing. I froze. I'd suspected, but that moment erased all doubt. I didn't yell. Our kids were sleeping. I said I could hear them. They didn't hear me. Then silence. I couldn't hang up. I was shaking, trying to speak. The call eventually ended. I called back. Voicemail. Again. The third time, she picked up. I told her what I heard. She apologized through tears. I asked who it was. She hesitated, but eventually said it was someone she used to work with. We agreed to talk the next day. I asked her not to stay with him that night. Later, she messaged me that she was in a taxi heading home. When she walked through the door, we hugged and cried. I told her I'd already forgiven her weeks earlier. I sent her my journal to read. We stayed up talking until the sun rose. She couldn't understand how she'd called me. She said she'd lost her phone and asked him to look in her jacket. He found it and said it was already on a call with me. But the jacket had been hanging up. We realized later it might have been her smartwatch, though that didn't sit right. Talking helped, even though it was painful. She asked how I could forgive her. My answer? Living lonely in your own home is brutal, and neither of us did anything to fix it. I told her she should have just ended things with me if she felt something for someone else. She said she was terrified of losing me, and things with the other man escalated from excitement into something more physical. Afterward, she went to bed at almost 6 a.m., emotionally wrecked and bruised from gripping her arms out of anxiety. We talked all the next day, no longer holding back. I told her I still wanted to work on us. We agreed to start counseling. It hasn't begun yet, and we both noticed a shift. Something between us changed. It didn't erase the pain, but it was a start. This past week has had more good days than bad. The kids have no idea what's going on. They see us laughing again, working together, and they're noticing changes in me. For instance, I've stopped overeating, which used to be how I coped. There's no guarantee we'll make it, but maybe we're not as broken as we once thought. She's asked multiple times why I'm being so kind. I simply say that this whole ordeal helped me realize what I want, her happiness. Preferably with me. But even if not, I still want her to be okay. We've gone through the details, how it started when she saw him. I even opened her phone when I saw a message from him pop up. I've never done that before, and it made me feel sick. I admitted it to her, told her what I saw. Thankfully, there were no pictures, but there were things I wish I could unsee. She's still torn up about the call I heard. She's been transparent, even telling me she messaged him recently to suggest he go visit his son. I've told her I won't forbid contact, but if she chooses to keep him in her life, we're over. I also said I don't want him around the kids if she chooses him. She later told me she decided to cut all ties with him. No friendship, no contact. I could see how much it hurt her. She clearly had feelings. After all, they'd been friends for years. Whatever decision she made, it meant pain and loss. We even talked about how she should end it, face to face, in public. I hate how kind I can be sometimes, how much I empathize. But I can't change who I am. I'll always put her emotional well-being first. And that's something I hadn't communicated well in our marriage. She sees that now. But something still doesn't sit right. I looked into her smartwatch. A Fitbit. There's no way to make a call from it. No microphone, no speaker. And if her phone was in her hanging jacket, it couldn't have made a call either. She was busy at the time, so she couldn't have used a voice command. She said they searched for the phone before he checked the jacket. Then he found it and said it was on a call to me. I now believe he made that call himself, deliberately, so I'd hear what was happening. When I spoke, he muted the call. Then he pretended to find it. It wasn't accidental. It was calculated. He wanted me to hear and be devastated. He wanted her for himself. Apparently, he even said she should talk to me and confess that his own parents split up because of an affair. He said he didn't want that to happen, but he'd always be there for her. In the end, I believe he set that up to try and break us apart. He declared his love to her. She told me it felt wrong, and she didn't feel the same way. I don't know if she said it back, but based on how our relationship began, she tends not to say those words unless she truly means them. Now we're trying to rebuild. There's only a small chance we'll stay together, but with counseling, we might. I'm not overly optimistic. We have a lot of baggage to sort through. While I won't pretend I'm grateful for everything that's happened, I've used it to motivate myself to grow. As for him, he caused tremendous pain, not just for me, but for her. He took away her chance to tell me herself. He prioritized his own desires over her emotional state. I haven't talked to her about this yet. She's at work, and I don't want to upset her. But I will bring it up tonight. I love my wife more than I realized. I'm committed to fighting for her happiness, no matter what that looks like. Others might not understand or agree with my perspective, and that's okay. This is my path, to grow, to rebuild, and maybe, just maybe, to give us another shot. And honestly, the best revenge against that man is for us to come out of this stronger. I'll post an update once I've spoken to her about it all.